जय राधमा जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन यशोदानंदन व्रज यमुना तीरावनचारी यमुना तीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रज यमुना तीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Jaya Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram. Jaya Gaura Nitai, Jaya Gaura Nitai, Gaura Nitai, Shri Gaura Nitai. Jaya Radha Shyama Sundar, Radha Shyama Sundar Radhe. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Jai Vishnupada Paramahansa Parivracharya Stotra Shri Divine Grace Abhay Charanarvind Bhakti Vedanta Samshita Prabhupada ki jai. Grantha Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Samvita Gaur Bhakti Vrinda ki jai. Jai Gaur Premanandi. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashta Prayasva Bhadreshu Nityang Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtiki. So we are reading today from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 89. So we will be reading many verses today. We will be repeating verse number 37 to 47. So we will just repeat 37th verse. Yes. And the name of the chapter is Krishna and Arjuna retrieve a Brahmana's sons. Text number 37. Nyaruna sutikagaram sharer nanastra yojitai tiryak urdhvamadha parthas chakara shara panjaram. Nyaruna sutikagaram sharer nanastra yojitai tiryak urdhvam adha parthas chakara sharapanjaram. Nyarunat sutikagaram शरेर नानास्त्र योजितैः तिर्यक ऊर्ध्वम अधः पार्थस चकार शरपंजरम यरुणश्रुतिकागारम शरेर नानास्त्र योजितैः भंजनम कागारम नानास्त्र योजितैः श्रुतिकागारम सरे नानास्त्र योजितैः तिर्यगूर्ध्वमधः पार्थः न्यरुणश्रुतिकाकारम् शरे नानास्त्र योजितैः तिर्यगूर्ध्वमधः पार्थः चकार शरपंजरम् न्यरुणश्रुतिकाकारम् शरे नानास्त्र योजितैः न्यरुणश्रुतिकागारम् शरे नानास्त्र योजितैः तिर्यगूर्ध्वमधः पार्थः चकार न्यरुणात् he enveloped Sutika Agaram, the house where the birth was taking place. Sharehi, with arrows, Nana, various, Astra, to missiles, Yojitehi, attached, Tiryak, horizontally, Urdhvam, upwards, Adaha, downwards, Parthaha, Arjuna, Chakara, made, Shara, of arrows, Panjaram, a cage. Translation: Arjuna fenced in the house where the birth was taking place by shooting. Okay, want to repeat? Okay. Arjuna fenced in the house where the birth was taking place by shooting arrows attached to various missiles. Thus, the son of Pritha constructed a protective cage of arrows, covering the house upwards, downwards, and sideways. Remaining, I'll just read the verses and translation. Tataha kumara sanjato vipra patnya rudamuhu sadhyo darshanam apede sa shariro vihayasa. The Brahmana's wife then gave birth, but after the newborn infant had been crying for a short time, he suddenly vanished into the sky in the self-same body. Tadaha vipra vijayam vinindam Krishna sannidho modhyam pashyate me yoyam shraddhadhe kliva kathanam. The Brahmana then derided Arjuna in front of Lord Krishna. Just see how foolish I was to put my faith in the bragging of a eunuch. न प्रद्युम्न न निरुद्धो न रामो न च केशवः यस्य शेकु परित्रातुं कोऽन्यस्तत् अवितेश्वरः. When neither Pradyumna, Aniruddha, Rama nor Keshava can save a person, who else can possibly protect him? Dhik Arjunam Rishavadam Dhik Atma Shlaghino Dhanuhu Daivo Prashtham Yo Mothyat Ani Nishati Durmatihi. To hell with that liar Arjuna, to hell with that braggart's bow. I'm sorry. He is so foolish that he has deluded himself into thinking he can bring back a person whom destiny has taken away. Evam shapati viprasho vidyam asthaya phalgunaha yayu samyamanim ashu yatraste bhagavan yamaha. While the wise Brahmana continued to heap insults upon him, Arjuna employed a mystic incantation to go at once to Samyamani, the city of heaven where Lord Yamaraj resides. Viprapatyam achakshanas tata endrim agat purim agnem neritam saumyam vayubhyam varunim matha rasakalam nakapristham dhishnani anyani udayudah tato labdha dvijasuto hi anistrina pratishrutah agnim vivikshu krishnena pratyukta pratishedhata. Not seeing the Brahmana's child there, Arjuna went to the cities of Agni, Nirita, Soma, Vayu and Varuna. Weapons at the ready, he searched through all the domains of the universe, from the bottom of the subterranean region, the roof of heaven. Finally, not having found the Brahmana's son anywhere, Arjuna decided to enter the sacred fire, having failed to keep his promise. But just as he was about to do so, Lord Krishna stopped him and spoke the following words. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments that Arjuna trusted Lord Shiva implicitly as his guru, and so he did not bother to search out Lord Shiva's celestial abode. 45th verse. Darshaye dvija sunumste mavagyatmanam atmana yetena kirtim vimalam manushyaha sthapishanti. Lord Krishna said, I will show you the Brahmana's sons, so please don't despite yourself like this. These same men who now criticize us will soon establish our spotless fame. Iti samdhasya bhagavan arjunena sahaishvaraha divyam swaratham asthaya pratishim disham avishat. Having thus advised Arjuna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead had Arjuna join him on his divine chariot, and together they set off toward the west. Saptva Sindhumsha Sapta Sapta Girinatha Loka Lokam Tathatitya Vivesha Sumahattamaha. The Lord's chariot passed over the 7 islands of the middle universe, each with its ocean and its 7 principal mountains. They crossed the Loka Loka boundary and entered the vast region of total darkness. Purport: in Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Srila Prabhupada notes, Krishna passed over all these planets and reached the covering of the universe. This covering is described in the Srimad Bhagavatam as great darkness. This material world as a whole is described as dark. In the opening space there is sunlight and therefore it is illuminated. But in the covering, because of the absence of sunlight, it is naturally dark. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurnitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhuvev cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namni Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Krishna. Welcome all for Srimad Bhagavatam class, seeking blessings of senior Vaishnavas, Maharaj and all the devotees. So this is where approaching the end of 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, which we know is the most beautiful portion of Srimad Bhagavatam. Every canto is very beautiful, special, just like Krishna, different parts of his divine body. So the 10th canto is compared to his beautiful lotus face. First and second canto are his lotus feet. So 10th canto is very beautiful because it has wonderful pastimes of Lord Krishna. And towards the end of this 10th canto, Shukdev Goswami is talking about the supremacy of Krishna. So Srila Prabhupada again and again emphasizes that we must first of all be convinced about the greatness of Krishna. Otherwise, we'll misunderstand his wonderful sweet pastimes that he performed in Vrindavan, especially pastime like Rasa Leela. So we must be convinced. Therefore, we see in the entire Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto again and again the pastimes emphasizing Krishna's supremacy, that how is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And towards the end, we see that the prayers of personified Vedas, chapter 87. Then we had Lord Shiva say from Brikasur, there also we heard about Krishna's greatness. And in this chapter also, we hear about Krishna's supremacy. So in the 89th chapter, in the beginning, we heard the pastime of Bhrigu Muni, how there was an assembly of sages. They wanted to establish who is the greatest. Because generally people think, especially those who are in Sanatana Dharma, they think that there are three gods. They say like that. They don't understand properly. They say Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva. Of course, the three are very great, the Guna avatars. So there's little confusion sometimes. So there was a discussion among the sages, and Bhrigu Muni said, I will test and I will establish who is the greatest among these three. And so we heard this pastime. Just I quickly summarize that he went to Lord Brahma first, Bhrigu Muni, Brahmaji's father. So as soon as we meet our father, special master is supposed to pay obeisances. And Bhrigu didn't do that, and Brahma became a little angry in his mind. And next he went to Lord Shiva, who is his brother. And Lord Shiva wanted to embrace his brother, but what Bhrigu Muni said? No, you are very dirty, covered with the ashes and all, I don't want to touch you. Lord Shiva became so angry, he wanted to kill him. And then he went to Lord Vishnu's abode. And Lord Vishnu was lying down, and Bhrigu Muni went and kicked at his chest. So Srila Prabhupada explains the first was mental offense, he didn't pay obeisance to Brahmaji. Second was through his words, he spoke words which insulted Lord Shiva, that you are impure. And third, physical offense, he kicked Lord Vishnu. But what was Lord Vishnu's reaction? He said, oh, my chest is so hard, your lotus feet is so soft. I'm sorry, you must have, you must be feeling pain by kicking me. You purified my chest today. You purified this abode of Vaikuntha today. So like that he glorified Bhrigu Muni, and Bhrigu Muni started crying tears of ecstasy, and he came back and told all the sages. So this pastime establishes the greatness of Krishna. Srila Prabhupada writes a beautiful statement that the ability of a great person, or the greatness of a man, can be estimated by his ability to tolerate provoking situations. A very famous line in Krishna book, that the actual greatness of a person is how he can tolerate provoking situation, difficult situation. So here, by this pastime, we saw that how Krishna, Lord Vishnu, could tolerate such a provoking situation. Imagine, sleeping on his, Ananta Sesh with Lakshmi Devi there, and someone came and kicked him. But what was Lord Vishnu's reaction? So this one pastime establishes that among these three, Lord Vishnu, Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, who is the greatest? Lord Vishnu. Now the second part of this chapter establishes that within Vishnu Tattva, who is the greatest? Krishna. So this is this pastime which we are hearing now. So this pastime shows that how even Mahavishnu, he wants to have darshan of Krishna. Even in Chaitanya Charitamrita, this particular pastime is quoted about the greatness of Krishna, that how Krishna is so exalted, his qualities are so great, he's so attractive that not only attracts people in this world, not only attracts demigods, he even attracts his own expansions, Vishnu Tattvas. So this particular pastime is very special, that even Lord Vishnu, Mahavishnu, is expansion of Krishna only, but even he is captivated by Krishna's wonderful qualities, especially his beauty. So he wanted to have darshan of Lord Krishna, and therefore this entire pastime was arranged. So this is something very special about this pastime. Of course, there are many other things also we can feel inspired and learn from this pastime. That once again Krishna is saying that how he always protects his devotees. There is another wonderful thing we can see in this pastime, that Arjuna, he made this. Okay, I'll just tell the story a little bit and then we'll talk about further. So in this long, we read many verses today. So 37 verse, what we saw, that the background is, all of you know that there was a brahmana in Dwarka, and every year as he was giving birth to his child, the child was vanished. He was not dying. The child, with the same body, the baby used to vanish. And then this brahmana, so he was very upset, very angry. He used to come to the court of Ugrasena in front of the palace of Krishna and speak very filthy words and abuse, and because it proved, actually this section also, Srila Prabhupada in Krishna books, he writes that it shows that how a monarch is very responsible person. So it's not that monarchy was bad and people say like that in modern history, but a monarch was a very responsible person. That if anything wrong happened in the kingdom, he should take up the responsibility of that. If any citizen, imagine, now somebody's son is getting died, now how can you blame the king? So this is the level of responsibility king has. That anything happens to citizens, if they are sad, if they are suffering, it's the responsibility of the king. Unimaginable, right? In today's world, if you say somebody's son is dying, the king is responsible. But that is Vedic culture. That was the level of responsibility the kings and monarchs they took in the Vedic culture. So here we see that the Brahmana, so every time it happened for 8 consecutive years, he gave birth to a son and the son disappeared. And every time he used to come and speak very insulting words to Krishna, to Ugrasen, to everyone. And when the 9th time it happened, that time Arjuna also happened to be in Dwarka. Because we know Arjuna and Krishna, they were so intimate friends. Sometimes Krishna used to go to Hastinapur and sometimes Arjuna used to come to Dwarka. A pastime of kidnapping Subhadra also happened. So Arjuna used to visit Dwarka. So that time Arjuna happened to be at Dwarka. And when Arjuna heard these words, he could not tolerate that, because he was speaking very insulting Kshatriyas. So Arjuna, so he became he could not tolerate these words. And he said that, don't say that there are no Kshatriyas. I am Arjuna. I am having this Gandiva bro. So Prabhupada, in this translation, they have used the word bragging. So Arjuna started bragging that you don't know who I am. I have defeated Lord Shiva also. And Lord Shiva gifted me this Gandiva bow. So don't distrust me. Don't think there are no Kshatriyas. Then he says that Kshatriyas are not simply meant to sit and do sacrifices, fat sacrifice. No. Kshatriya should be brave and fight. Now interestingly, the same Arjuna, before Mahabharata, he became opposite. He said, I don't want to fight. But here, the same Arjuna is saying, no, Kshatriyas are meant to fight I am there, don't worry. Next time you give birth to your child, I will protect. I am promising that. And then Arjuna says, if I don't fulfill my promise, then I will. Because he was not believing Arjuna's word. What will you do? Even Krishna could not save, even Sankarshan could not save. You think you can do? Then Arjuna says, don't, I am taking a vow. If I don't do it, then I will enter fire. And then the Brahmana was a little bit pacified. Okay, if Arjuna is taking a vow, because Kshatriyas normally they fulfill their vows. Okay, he said fine. So then next year, so Arjuna stayed at Dwarka for the entire 1 year waiting for the child to be delivered. And as soon as the child was about to be delivered, the Brahmana told Arjuna that please come and protect this time. So Arjuna goes, and what he does, he makes a cage, a protective cage around the Brahmana's house with his arrows. So Arjuna was a great warrior, so he had such a great martial skill. So he made, and the arrows were attached to various missiles. These days we are hearing a lot of missiles in the news. So don't think that missiles were not there in those days. So Arjuna had very sophisticated missiles also, right? So he had those arrows and missiles, with missiles, and upwards, downwards. So it was like full cage, a full protective layer made of arrows. Nobody could penetrate that. It was such a powerful cage. But then suddenly what happened? As soon as the child was born, the child again vanished. So who could penetrate Arjuna's cage? No, nobody had that power. No demigods. No, forget about human beings. Only Lord Mahavishnu could do it, which we'll find later. So Arjuna was completely perplexed. What happened? And then the Brahmana started really insulting Arjuna. He said, I was so foolish that I put my faith in bragging of a eunuch, Such a, imagine, klibyam, the same word which is in Bhagavad Gita also. That Arjuna, so he said that you are speaking like not like a man, not like a Kshatriya. I was so foolish to believe in your words. The Brahmana is saying that Aniruddha, Krishna, Rama, Keshava, they could not protect my son. And I thought this foolish Arjuna, this liar Arjuna, he will protect my son. Oh, he said, hell with that bragger, Dik. So very insulting words he speaks to Arjuna. And Krishna was with Arjuna. And Krishna was, then what happened? No, Krishna doesn't come in. He was just there watching everything. And then after hearing all these insulting words, imagine, Arjuna's blood was boiling. And what he did, immediately left that place and went to the abode of Yamaraj. He was a mystic yogi. So he could transfer himself to the abode of Yamaraj. He went there. There he searched for the Brahmana's child. He did not find. Then Arjuna went to the different abodes of demigods. He went to the abode of Agni, Nrita, Soma, Vayu, Varuna, all the directions in this universe, north, east, south, west. He went everywhere. He said except northeast, because that was the place of Lord Shiva. He didn't go there because he knew that Lord Shiva wouldn't have done this. So he went all over the universe and could not find the Brahmana's sons. And then what happened? Having failed to keep his promise, he was about to enter fire and commit suicide. And that time, Krishna intervened. Lord Krishna said, don't worry Arjuna, I will show you where the Brahmana sons are there. And the same men who are criticizing us, they will glorify us. And then what Krishna did? He had Arjuna board his divine chariot, and Krishna and Arjuna together, they set off towards the west. So this is a wonderful journey now. Now imagine beautiful heavenly chariot, Krishna's own divine chariot, and Arjuna, Krishna, they're both sitting on the chariot, and Krishna's famous horses. Actually in the 48th verse we hear the name of Krishna's horses also. So everything related to Krishna is divine. So do anyone if you remember the names of Krishna's horses? Okay, let's read. Shaibya, Sugriva, Megha Pushpa and Balahaka. So these are the names of the 4 horses of Krishna, which we'll read in 48th verse. Even now in Jagannath Puri, if you see Lord Jagannath's chariot, there are 4 horses. So the same 4 horses, and they are white in color. Shebya, Sugriva, Megha, Pushpa and Balahaka. So that divine chariot, Krishna and Arjuna, they both are sitting on the divine chariot. And then the journey is described, that how they passed over the 7 islands, Saptadvip, Jambudvip, that Jambudvip is one of those Saptadvip, Bhuloka, in 5th canto we hear that how Bhumandala has 7 great islands separated by ocean in between, Jambudvip, then Shalmali Dvip, like that, so many dvipas are there, Pushkara Dvip. So that there are 7 different dvipas, and we are in Jambudvip, and Jambudvip has 9 varshas, right? Yes. So one of them is Bharata Varsha, and different varshas, Purusha Loka and Hari Varsha, like that, they are different varshas, Bharata Varsha. And in Bharata Varsha, there is Earth planet, that is Bharata Khanda, where we are there. So anyway, so we see the description, the same thing is described here, that Krishna and Arjuna, their chariot passed through all the 7 Saptadvipas, the entire Bhumandala, and then after Bhumandala, if you read the 5th canto of Bhagavatam, there is a mountain range called Loka mountain, very high mountain. And the sun rays, they do not penetrate the Loka mountain. So light is within this Loka mountain. So then Krishna also crossed that Loka mountain. It crossed the Loka boundary and entered the vast region of total darkness. After Loka mountain, there is darkness because there is no sun. And we'll see in the next verses. Then what Krishna does, because the horses could not move, then Krishna took his Sudarshan Chakra. And so much effulgence came out of Sudarshan Chakra that the chariot went forward. And then we'll see that the universe has different layers. The universe has 8 layers, The Brahmanda universe, the diameter is 4 billion miles. After this universe, the open space that we see with all the planets, there is covering of Earth, which is 10 times more than 4 billion, 40 billion miles. There is a covering of Earth layer. After that, there is covering of water layer. Then there is a covering of fire. There is a covering of air. Then ether. Then mind, intelligence, false ego, mahatatva, like that. There are different coverings. So imagine, that means the coverings are so huge. 10 times each, can you imagine? The covering of different layers. So this 4 billion, next layer is this big. Then it's like 10 times bigger. So if you see, the inside space is so small compared to the entire size. That is one universe only. And like that, there are so many universes. So in this journey, Krishna and Arjuna, they will penetrate all the layers. And then finally, they will reach the abode of Mahavishnu, who is lying in the ocean of Karnasagar, the causal ocean. And then Mahavishnu, he smiles and says that I did this pastime, I stole the boys because I wanted to take your darshan. So this is the most important part in this chapter, that even Mahavishnu, he is eager to have darshan of Krishna. He is so beautiful, he is all attractive. That is why he is all attractive Krishna. Having such wonderful qualities that he enchants even his own expansions, Mahavishnu. Just imagine. So that is one wonderful thing that is established in this chapter. Second thing, we see that how he always protects the vows of his devotees. Right? So Srila Prabhupada many times says that why in Bhagavad Gita Krishna says to Arjuna that you promise, Panteya Pratijani Namya Bhakta Pranashriti. He says you promise. Because Krishna sometimes can break his own promise, but he will never break the promise of his devotee. That is how the Lord is Bhakta Vatsala. And there are so many instances of this. In Mahabharata, the famous pastime of Bhishma Dev, that Bhishma Dev took that promise, that took the vow that today either I'll kill Arjuna or Krishna has to break his own promise. Because Krishna had taken the promise, made the promise that he will not take up weapons in Mahabharata. So Bhishma Dev made that promise that today either Arjuna will die or Krishna has to break his own promise. And Krishna broke his own promise and took up the chariot of the wheel and attacked Bhishma Dev. You have seen that famous picture, this wonderful pastime. Such a beautiful pastime which shows that Krishna, he doesn't care that people may say that, oh, I am a liar, I break my promise. It doesn't matter to Krishna. What is more important to him is that he should be always known as Bhakta Vatsala. That I should always be known as protector of my devotees. Other things it doesn't matter to him so much. Let people say that I am a liar. Let people say whatever they want. For Krishna, the most important thing is his devotees. And for devotees, he can do anything. He can even break his own promise to keep up the promise of his devotees. And even when Bhishma Dev, in his last prayers, as he was passing away, remembering Krishna, he remembered this quality of Krishna. That how Krishna is so Bhakta Vatsala that he can break his own promise to protect the promise of his devotees. And similarly in Mahabharata, another famous story where Arjuna made a vow and he was about to break the vow and he was about to enter fire and Krishna saved. What was that? Anybody remembers that in Battle of Mahabharata, Arjuna made a big promise and he was not able to do that and finally Krishna has saved him. Yes, Maharaj.
There's one devotee who killed, or took place in killing Abhimanyu.
Yes, Maharaj. Yeah, Jayadratha. Yes. Yes.
Before the sun sets, Arjuna promised before the sun sets, I'm going to kill him.
Yes, Maharaj.
So the whole floor of the army lined up with what's his name?
Jayadratha.
That guy all the way back.
Yes.
So that Arjuna fought the whole day.
Yes. So thank you, Maharaj.
And then finally, the sun was setting, but Krishna, the sun was still there, but Krishna made it appear that the sun had actually set. So
Right.
before going now, I'm saying it, and Arjuna said, "We're going to kill him."
Yes. Thank you, Maharaj. So I'll just repeat this first time again. So Jayadratha was also a big warrior, and we have heard that in Mahabharata how Abhimanyu, who was a very, very chivalrous fighter, he was very brave, son of Arjuna himself, son of Arjuna and Subhadra, Krishna's own sister. And when Abhimanyu was in the womb of Subhadra, Krishna himself taught him, he was teaching about the art of how to chakravyu. It's a particular arrangement of the army, how we can penetrate that. So Abhimanyu was very brave, and the Kauravas, so they formed this chakravyuha, and Abhimanyu somehow he was so brave, he penetrated that. But then the Kauravas, they killed Abhimanyu by cheating, by breaking all the rules of war. So many warriors attacked Abhimanyu together, and in a very, very merciless way, and breaking all the etiquettes of war, they killed Abhimanyu. And naturally, and Jayadratha was one who was very, very celebrating when Abhimanyu was killed. And when Arjuna heard this, that how his dear son Abhimanyu was killed in such a merciless way by cheating, and how all the Kauravas, they got together, they simultaneously attacked Abhimanyu, and how Jayadratha was jumping and dancing and celebrating. So Arjuna naturally, he became so angry. Being Kshatriya, his own dear son. So first he was lamenting, and then his Kshatriya mood came and he took the vow that tomorrow, before sun sets, I will kill Jayadratha. If I don't do it, then I will end my life. That was the vow taken by Arjuna. So very interesting. The devotees, they just simply take a vow because they have faith that Krishna will protect. That is Arjuna. So Arjuna took this vow, and it was a very great vow. And on the other side, the Kauravas, now they thought this is a great chance because they all knew that Arjuna was the greatest warrior, and if Arjuna dies, they can win Mahabharata. So they made a plan that our only agenda is to not allow Arjuna to reach Jayadratha. If he cannot reach Jayadratha, he cannot be killed, and Arjuna will kill himself. So the entire Kaurava army, they got together and made sure the only agenda was that Arjuna should be somehow kept busy fighting with other soldiers, and he should not reach Jayadratha. And evening time was approaching. And then Krishna finally thought, now what should be done here? Now my devotee, he has taken a promise. Now it's my duty to fulfill his promise. That is Krishna. For him, the most important thing is to fulfill the promise of his devotee. So then Krishna did this trick. He made the sun appear, it has set, like eclipse. He did something like an eclipse, and suddenly it became dark, and people thought sun has set. And then what happened? Foolish Jayadratha came in front of Arjuna, because he thought now game is over, now we are victorious, Arjuna will kill himself. And Jayadratha himself, he was mocking Arjuna, and all the Kauravas, they started celebrating, and they all came in front of Arjuna. And then suddenly Krishna again made the sun appear. And then Krishna said, look, there is sun, and here is Jayadratha. Don't wait now. So immediately Arjuna killed Jayadratha. So such a difficult situation. But Krishna again, so just when I was reading this pastime in the morning today, this pastime came to mind. And such a similar pastime. Here also Arjuna took a vow that if I don't bring the suns back, I will kill myself. And then Krishna had to intervene. He himself went in the chariot and he brought back the suns. And there also in Mahabharata, when Arjuna took that vow to end his life if he doesn't kill Jayadratha, imagine if Krishna wouldn't have done that, Arjuna would have killed himself, because he was very true to his words. That's a Kshatriya. But Krishna, we see always, he protects his devotees. That is one so two wonderful things we learn from this pastime. One, that how Krishna is so attractive, that even Mahavishnu, he wants to have darshan of Krishna. So this proves that even within the Vishnu Tattva, Krishna is the highest. Mata parataram nanyat kinchit asti dhananjaya. That how is the absolute truth. And second aspect we see, that how Krishna is so bhakta vatsala, he is so much loving for his, he takes care of his devotees so much that he went all the way with Arjuna, traveled all across the universe. And then we also hear about the geography and how the universe is made, how he penetrated different layers, and finally reached the abode of Mahavishnu and brought the suns back. Similarly, we see that so many other beautiful examples are there, that how Krishna always keeps up the words of his devotees. The whole Narsimhadev pastime, the verse is Satyam Vidhatum Nijabhritya Bhashitam. That Lord Narsimhadev appeared just to keep the word of his devotee Prahlad. Because Prahlad said, when Hiranyakashipu said, is your Lord here? He said, yes, my Lord is here. To protect his words, Lord Narsimhadev appeared. And also to protect the boons given by Brahma. Brahma is also devotee. He gave boon to Hiranyakashipu, that he cannot be killed by man, cannot be killed by animal, cannot be killed in day, night. So just to keep up the promise of Brahma, he kept all the boons intact. Krishna would have broken that. But no, he wanted to keep the boon of Brahma, keep up the promise of Prahlad, and that's how he appeared in the form of Lord Narsimhadev. There's so many wonderful pastimes like that, that how it proves that how Krishna is so eager, he is always eager to protect the words of his devotees. And Srila Prabhupada, being such a dear devotee of Krishna, we've seen his pastimes also, that Krishna kept his words. When Srila Prabhupada in Juhu temple, he gave the word to Krishna that I want to build a temple for you here. And so much difficulties, there were so many challenges, but somehow Krishna made sure that beautiful Rajbihari temple was built. So we see that whatever desires Srila Prabhupada had, Krishna, he fulfilled those desires. We are having such a beautiful temple in Mayapur. So many examples are there. Prabhupada wanted a temple in Kanpur. There was a temple in Kanpur. So this is what Krishna's his foremost, you can say that his priority, Krishna's priority is to fulfill the desires and fulfill the vows of his devotees. He doesn't care about his vows so much. But for him, more important is to fulfill the desires of his great devotees. So these are some of my thoughts on today's, what we read from Srimad Bhagavatam. There are so many senior Vaishnavas. Maharaj, any comments or any questions? Yes, Maharaj.
Thank you for the class. Actually, Krishna is fulfilling everyone's desire.
Yes.
As he says in the Bhagavad Gita, Natate kasitit papam, na papam sukritim vibhu, agyana navritam jnanam, tena muyanti jantava. Nor does the Supreme Lord assume anyone's sinful or pious activities, but the embodied soul, however, is bewildered by the ignorance which covers his real knowledge. So our very desires, our thoughts that we become attached to, Krishna is actually making arrangements through his material energy to fulfill our desire according to what we deserve. So actually everyone is praying to Krishna, and Krishna is fulfilling everyone's desire according to what they actually deserve. But generally speaking, the desire in terms of the material energy is very inauspicious. So when a devotee desires to gratify his senses or fulfill material desires, then Krishna sometimes doesn't fulfill their desires because he doesn't want to put his devotee into difficulty. So there's times when Krishna will not fulfill the desires of a devotee if he thinks it's not going to be good for him. But for the non-devotees, he fulfills all their desires, good or bad. Well, it's all bad, but according to what they deserve.
Yes, thank you, Maharaj. Very nice point. Yes.
You mentioned Subhadra
Yes.
in your lecture. Could you say something about the appearance of Subhadra? Is it the same as the child that took 8-arm form and told Kamsa, "You fool, the child who's going to kill you is already born somewhere else"?
So this is actually a little bit of kind of a topic which is devotees have different opinions. But what I have read, and in Bhagavatam 10 cantos clearly says that Subhadra was born of Vasudeva and Devaki. That 8-arm form that we say, she was born from Yashoda. Later she came to Mathura, right? But what we hear in Bhagavatam is that Subhadra was actually born of Devaki. So what I have heard and read, as according to me, Subhadra was actually born later. So after Krishna was born, Subhadra was born as the daughter of Devaki. That's my understanding. Others can. Prabhupada Maharaj, I think he is very... Maharaj, your opinion on Subhadra, Maharaj?
No, I don't know.
No, I'm saying Prabhupada Maharaj, like to say. Or anyone else would like to comment on? Yes.
Oh. Well, as far as I understand, what you just said, it's in the Bhagavatam, so what else?
Yes.
It said that Yogamaya, she appeared, it mentions exactly where she was going to appear in the Bhagavatam. In the first chapter of the 10th canto, it says where she appeared and what her names were. It doesn't say Subhadra.
Yes, yes.
Arjuna's kind of giving a guarantee that I'm going to kill this person, others I'll kill myself, and it looked like Rukmi also made some kind of promise that I'm going to kill Krishna, otherwise I'm not coming back.
Right.
Is that something common that people, just to prove their, I'm going to actually do it? I mean, that if I don't do this, I'm going to kill myself. And is that like what the Kshatriyas, they offer as a guarantee, show their prowess? Is that something like that?
Yes, Subhya. So that's the way Kshatriyas, they're so proud of their abilities, so they make promises. If I don't do it, I'll kill myself. A very nice example. So Rukmi made the promise, he could not fulfill. So what he did, he didn't come back to his kingdom. He stayed there only out of embarrassment. So he didn't kill himself, but it says that he did not come back to his kingdom. And that's a nice example to contrast that how others they made promise, Krishna doesn't care, but his devotees they make a promise, his dear devotees, Krishna makes sure that the promise is fulfilled. And as also Maharaj said that, but for us, for those who are not pure devotees, so Krishna sees whether the desire is good for bhakti or not. The desire is good, we should not think that, whatever desire I have, Krishna will fulfill. That's not for us. Krishna sees that what is good for us, will fulfill. But his pure devotees, for them, because they are anyway pure, they will not desire anything which is against Krishna's wishes. So whatever they desire, Krishna fulfills. Okay, so thank you all for attending the Srimad Bhagavatam class. Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,